In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 7 Stoic exercises that changed my life. And this is what I love about Stoicism, that it is not armchair philosophy. It's all about practicality. It's all about implementation. It's all about doing the things that allow us to show up as the highest version of ourselves. As the philosopher King Marcus Aurelius said, stop arguing about what a good man is and be a good man. And what we're really striving for over here through the lens of Stoicism is to achieve a state of tranquility. As it was Seneca who said that euthymia is the state that we are moving towards, which is clarity in your path, confidence to walk your path, and not being distracted by the myriad of paths walked by others that are surrounding you. All right, so you have that one track focus, and you know that you trust in this path that you're walking, and you're not distracted by everything else around you. And that is when you experience a state of inner flourishing, of tranquility. And that is really the end goal of this philosophy of Stoicism, to implement the practices that allow us to experience these heightened emotions. Okay, so the first exercise that I'm going to be sharing with you is that of carefreeness. And this is really the fundamental frame of Stoicism, and it's captured perfectly by a quote from Epictetus, who said that there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things that are beyond your power of will. What is beyond your power of will? Well, there are a lot of things that are beyond your power of will, but what is within your power of will are a very few number of things. And at the end of the day, you are the only thing that you have control over, okay? Your thoughts and your behaviors. Even your thoughts are somewhat influenced by your environment, by external circumstances, by the stuff that you consume. Like if I tell you right now to stop thinking about a pink elephant, then the first thing you think about is a pink elephant, and I'm able to influence what you think about just by what I'm saying. So even our thoughts are not completely within our control, but our behavior is the most important thing within our control. Okay, as I look forward into the year 2020, I see clarity on what I seek to accomplish. Okay, what outcomes do I seek to accomplish? Yes, I want to build a certain body according to a certain amount of dimensions. I want to reach a certain number in my business. I want to develop deep and fulfilling relationships with people. I want to deepen my own spirituality, and I have all these outcomes in mind in terms of what I seek to accomplish. But these outcomes in themselves are not entirely within my control. So looking at this through the lens of Stoicism, I realize that the process goals are something that I can set as well, right? So if I want to hit a certain number in my business, what activities can I do that will allow that outcome to be a natural byproduct of it? How many videos can I make? How many ads can I post? How many calls can I get on every single month? Which will basically give me the power to control the things that will allow the outcome to naturally sprout from it. Okay, with regards to my health, I want to build a certain type of body. There's certain dimensions, shoulder to waist ratio that I have in mind, and what I have in control is my workouts, how often I show up every single week, what I put in my body, what I eat, like all of the behaviors that are within my control that will allow the outcomes to show up as a natural byproduct. And that is when we are able to use Stoicism to set our goals and get clear on the processes that will allow the outcomes to sprout as a natural byproduct. Okay, so really it's all about focusing down on what is within your control and letting go of everything that is outside of your control to achieve that state of tranquility. Now, the second Stoic exercise I'm going to be sharing with you is that of fatalism with regards to the past and the present. So a large reason that we experience discomfort is because what we're experiencing right now, there's resistance to it. All right, we have a expectation of how we want it to be, and then there's the reality of how it actually is, and then in that gap is where we experience those negative emotions. So the Stoics advise us to accept things how they are, to be predetermined, to be inevitable, that the past and present are unchangeable. And the more we can embody this mindset, the more we actually empower ourselves to think about what we can do right now and what we can do to change the structure of reality moving forward. So accept the things in your life, although you're experiencing resistance to them, it's only because of an expectation that you placed on it. So the more you accept it, the more you get empowered to change it moving forward. Now, the third Stoic exercise I'm going to be sharing with you is that of negative visualization. And this is an antidote to hedonic adaptation. So, human nature is insatiable. Okay, we see this in consumer culture, in consumerism, where the more we have, the more we want, and we are continuously running through this loop of wanting more, of comparing ourselves to people who have more, and just on that hedonic treadmill where it's never enough. So the Stoics advise the practice of negative visualization, whereby we imagine not having the things that we value. Okay, so some of examples of this could be when you imagine that you're completely broke and you imagine that you lost all your money. Then after you go through that visualization exercise, you come back to it, then you're way more grateful for the thing that you actually have, right? So negative visualization, the purpose is to make us enjoy the things even more, the things that we already have, to enjoy them even more. So another exercise, and this can seem kind of dark, but I read about it from Seneca's work, and he said that imagine that your daughter has died. All right, so imagine that a family member has died and she's no longer with you, and imagine how that makes you feel, the negative emotions that you're experiencing losing this person that you really, really love. And then you open your eyes, you're like, okay, they're actually not dead, they're actually alive. And then imagine how much more present you will be with that person if you have negatively visualized that they are not there. All right, so negative visualization is to allow us to experience even more joy with the things that we already have, rather than being concerned of what we want. Okay, so this is a huge game changer, and Seneca actually steps this up a notch higher when he says that you should practice self-denial. So rather than just imagining that you lost the things that you lost, actually practice them. So rather than imagining that you lost all your money, actually practice poverty for a day or two by sleeping on the floor, by not eating food. Like I practice fasting a lot as well. Now I haven't really been practicing it through the lens of, imagining that I've lost the resources to eat food, but it's just depriving yourself of these things that allow you to experience even more joy with them. So I remember when I did like a 3-day fast, I realized that I wasn't even hungry after 2 or 3 days. My body had tapped into heavy ketosis. But when I was able to realize what I was actually experiencing, it was more about me missing the experience of eating delicious food. It was not about being hungry, but it was about the experience of eating food. And when I went back to actually eating the food, I enjoyed it way, way more. All right, so that is the practice of self-denial. Go ahead and implement it in any way that you see fit. And the next Stoic exercise that changed my life is that of reflection. Okay, so Seneca recommends that every single day when you are done with the day, you sit back and look back at your behavior that was exhibited during the day. What did you actually do, and what would have you done if it was in alignment with the Stoic principles? Okay, so whether you want to do journaling, whether you want to sit back and meditate on your situations in the day, then the key really is to reflect back on your behavior and figure out the optimizations that you can make moving forward. Because so many times we get caught in the emotions of the moment, we get caught in the spiral of circumstances that catch us off guard. But the more we can reflect on them, the more we can get a distance on them, and the more we can continue making the optimizations moving forward. Okay, now the next Stoic exercise is that of Deo Volente. Now Deo Volente means God willing, and it's really about detachment. Okay, it's interesting how a lot of practices in Stoicism have been rooted back to a lot of practices talked about in Buddhism and Hinduism. So it's like a fundamental truths, these universal truths which have been being talked about again and again. But Deo Volente is really about striving for your goal, but with an understanding of knowing that the outcome is outside of your control. All right, so it roots back to the carefreeness aspect as well. But in Hinduism, they say that you're entitled to the action, but not the fruit of the action. Okay, Tom Bilyeu, someone who I really look up to and a host of the Impact Theory show, says that the struggle is guaranteed, but the success is not. All right, so Deo Volente means that you go ahead and you take the right action, you exhibit the right behavior in the way that you can, and you concern your criteria of success only with the area that is within your control. You did what you can, you did what you could, and you accept what is as a result of that. And if a new direction pops up, you are willing to go and walk that direction rather than getting attached to one particular situation, rather than having expectation towards how you wanted life to behave. You are behaving in a way with how life is right now. Okay? And that brings us to the final Stoic exercise that changed my life, and that is of something that I need to refer to my cheat sheet about, but it comes down to memento mori, which means to remember death. All right, I like to say that death is the shadow which gives the light of life meaning, because in the face of death, everything that is unimportant disappears. You let go of everything that doesn't serve you, and you narrow and sharpen your view of what is actually important to you. Okay, and the more you can meditate on your death, the more you can get clear on what is actually important to you, what is it that you actually want to make happen during the limited time that you have here. Because intellectually we all know that we're going the same way, but emotionally we don't really behave in that manner. We don't behave as though our time is limited. And that is what Seneca actually talks about as well, saying that many times we talk about how life is so short, but that is only because we waste the majority of our time doing inconsequential things. So the more we can meditate on our debts, the more we can get clear on what is actually important to us, and the more we can exhibit the behavior that allows us to align with our highest values. Okay, so I hope you find something valuable from this video. I hope that you implement this stuff, whether it is memento mori, which is probably the most important one. Leave a comment below and let me know what has been the most important Stoic exercise that you've learned about in this video. What has been something that you will start practicing right now? Leave a comment below and let me know. And if you like this video, click the like button. If you loved it, click the subscribe button, because I'm releasing new content just like this every single day. With all that being said, this has been Saleem, and I will see you soon.